Another in other shows. I think she has, right?
Her avatar looks familiar.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping that Weibo was going to show up. She's the one that kind of influenced me to do it, but she's
Oh,
hiding.
really?
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing it like every. I mean, what do you guys think? Doing it every week, or every other week, just to chat about different subjects. You
I
know,
think it's a great idea.
what do you think? Every other week or every week on Wednesdays?
Yeah, Wednesdays works for me. And maybe
Right now, my computer's in bad shape, so I'm using an old computer, and maybe I do it every other week until I get the computer. Once I get the computer, we can do it every week, every Wednesday,
okay.
and we can talk about philosophy, politics, the nobody, spirituality, about all kinds of different subjects. I think it's a good idea. So today's show is going to be about the nobody, and I'm sure everybody's going to be excited about. So let's start with asking the question: who's the nobody anyway? Alex?
The nobody represents. I feel the nobody represents a movement
Mm-hmm.
that transcends duality. That is, he's not pro anything, and he's not anti-establishment. He's above duality, which means you don't really take a side.
Sure. How about you, DJ? Who's the nobody, DJ?
Shouldn't it be like he sees the two different sides? That he sees the good things about both sides?
But is he?
I would bridge all nations. He is all nations. Oh, none of them at the same time.
What do you think, Faye?
Like
Who's?
Schrodinger's Messiah. He is and isn't.
I feel like he cannot be a messiah because he can either save the world or destroy the world. He can walk away and not help humanity. I mean,
Well, that's both are the same thing. You gotta kill the world to fix it.
basically, yeah.
The nobody is a paradox because if the nobody were somebody,
Mm-hmm.
then the nobody would fall victim to the just the nuances that take place within the matrix, and that's not what the nobody is about. It's this individual that understands that by partaking in in the institutions that exist all over the world, he is propagating. He is continuing the cycle of duality.
I think you're right. If then nobody was somebody, he could not change the world. Because just as politicians and wealthy people and well accommodated people, they already have a place in the society, in the system. So if then nobody was one of them, he could not risk changing the world because to do so, would mean that he could lose that place, that position. So therefore, the nobody, exactly. So if the nobody is to change the world, he has to be a nobody, right?
Exactly.
Because he has nothing to lose, nothing to gain. He's free from all the limitations that the world has. At the same time, he's not only not wealthy or powerful, but he cannot be, for example, marry or have children, because to do so, he will also be too entangled in the world, which means he cannot put himself in danger or risk his life to change the world. So the nobody is truly a nobody.
Right, because in becoming somebody, he would be accountable for the lives of others, and that's not what the nobody's about. It's really someone who understands that self-mastery is the key to exiting this matrix, and in order to do so, you have to walk a lonely path.
So I think that nobody has two choices. One, yeah, Faded?
The only one that I have that no.
I think that nobody
It's kind of
has.
ironic. It makes perfect sense though that you would end up helping every single nation and religion on the planet by just not identifying with them at all and removing it from your mind. Because then you probably have a lot more space in your head to
Mhm.
think about shit that matters.
Correct.
Hey, Faded.
I
Hi. I wanted to ask you. Are you okay? Did you find somewhere to stay?
did I say that already in here? I mean, I'm between home every other or so or something. I mean, like, dude, I have stayed in probably like 5 different places, even in the last year. And I just like I got into an argument today, and I'm sitting at the library right now, doing usually what I do when I start saying too much for people to handle. I mentioned God to one of my older family members, and now they can't. They're obsessed with the idea now. Like, she was a full-blown atheist now. Now I've instilled existential dread, so I can't really like say too much, no matter where I go.
Mm.
Should just start hitting the fan. And I'm not even like the best guy to talk about that kind of stuff either. I just like, if I see a situation where it was like, oh, you probably should pray more on this, try to say it, but then I'm gonna end up saying something like that when I don't need to. I'm gonna say that to like an actual monk one day, and he's gonna be like, well, I pray every day. How about you?
Well, hopefully
That's
you
why
find.
the nobody's the nobody, because in declaring himself an atheist, he's going to inevitably challenge the belief system of those God-fearing people among us who have, have instituted concepts such as sin and guilt and
Exactly.
confession. So none of these which the nobody subscribes to.
But you can't also just be a full-blown atheist, because that's, even in that itself, is subscribing to some sort of ideology in your belief system. So it literally has nothing on all of them at the same time. And therefore becomes God while being technically an atheist.
He comes, in the name of no God,
I can't wait.
in the name of no nation, without power. But he comes as a soul, as a true soul, a genuine human being that believes that every human being has the capacity to alter itself and its condition and the world. I think only the nobody can change the world, because he has nothing to lose, nothing to gain. He's everything and nothing.
The nobody's
I
kind of
think
like.
I think he sees past like all the traps and the tricks and all the lights and all the shiny things that everyone else is so consumed by,
Yeah,
which is good. I think he sees past all this shit.
true.
I think so too.
We will welcome.
Hey guys.
So we begin.
The nobody's like the wizard from the Wizard of Oz. When Dorothy was walking down the Yellow Brick Road with the the Tin Man and the Cowardly Lion and the Scarecrow, Dorothy basically she learned that when she pulled back away the curtains from the set, there was no wizard there, so it was just her all along. So basically, the nobody represents this idea that you can become human version 2.0. You can become an enlightened, awakened being. You just have to eliminate all sources of distraction from your life, which includes, but isn't limited to, social media, mainstream media, Hollywood, politics, religion, all of that. And once you understand that all of that serves to distract you from evolving and becoming the best version of yourself in this lifetime, then you truly become a nobody, because at that point you have no affiliation. You are undefinable. You don't have any labels attached to you, so you're free to essentially navigate the cosmos as you wish.
Mm.
Be anybody, anywhere, anytime.
We will.
Exactly.
So we begin the show with a question, and I ask the question to everybody. Let's see what you answer. Who is the nobody? We will to you.
Oh?
Who is the nobody?
Who is?
Mm-hmm.
You should have asked, what is the nobody?
What is the nobody? Who is the nobody?
Because once you understand what is the nobody,
Isn't
you
it
will
like a what?
probably try to see who the nobody is. But you guys didn't understand what nobody is until now. So I think that you think of a nobody who is kind of a hero, modeled after your own beliefs, but you may be very wrong about that.
The nobody is an abolishment of all ideology.
Correct.
The nobody does not subscribe to belief system. The
Well,
nobody
exactly.
Imagine
If
how
the
that
nobody,
conversation would go.
if the nobody,
I am the
that
nobody.
nobody discards every belief that normal people have, for example, right?
yes, right.
If he discards, he, she, whatever this nobody is, discards religions, society in the way it's organized nowadays, and all that, it means that this kind of nobody, it's unpredictable, you know?
Correct.
So it's futile that you guys are giving to this nobody all sorts of abilities that you know from your religious systems, even occult systems, which are basically something like religion but with a more pompous name, you know?
The nobody comes in the name of no God, no religion, and yet he represents a primordial universal truth. So he will
Yeah,
bring,
but
yeah,
the thing is, you guys always say this, and after that, you represent this nobody as sort of a Jesus, or if not Jesus, Prometheus, or whatever other character you know from your own belief, you know, or your own religious texts and so on. But this
Literally,
nobody would be
that's
far beyond
fully.
all that, you know, maybe even more unpredictable than the Joker that you see in the movies.
Well, to your point, I think that when in order for the nobody to exist, the nobody has to essentially be free from any preconceived ideas about society, about religion, about politics,
yep,
and and not engage in the zero sum game, because everybody who works and lives in the matrix, in order for them to become somebody, they have to compromise something about themselves. They have to sell their soul.
yep.
Every Hollywood actor that's made it to the big screen had to make a contract and deal with the devil in order to become famous. So the nobody is really represents an abolishment of all ideology, of all belief systems.
For example,
I just wanted to make one last point.
yeah,
That the reason why, to your point, the reason why the nobody cannot be modeled after a Messiah figure is because if that would only mean that history repeats itself. Because if we assign the nobody to like a Jesus or like a Moses, like some sort of powerful leader figure, we've all seen what happens to the messiahs that have come and gone throughout the ages of our time. They've either been murdered or persecuted or outcast by society. So it cannot be a leader. It cannot be somebody who is publicly known as a public leader.
But why do you want this nobody to be a leader, a public figure? I don't understand you.
I mean, if he has every power in the world,
Once he becomes a public figure, he's no more a nobody. He's somebody.
Correct. No,
So-
I'm not saying that he wants to become a public figure. He does not. Actually, it's quite the opposite. He prefers solitude. He prefers to remain anonymous, and it's an idea that you don't take credit for the things that the changes that you make in the world. You know that you are a self-enlightened being, and as a result of your awakening process, you transcend duality. You go against all institutions. You don't subscribe to the belief systems that the world.
In order for the nobody to create change, he cannot be tied to systems or current realities. So the nobody cannot be a Joe Biden or a Tom Cruise. He had to begin as a nobody. But he has to become somebody eventually if he is to influence the human race into a new direction. Otherwise, how he's going to do it? Therefore, he has two choices. One, to become the somebody, but not somebody like the current leaders and powerful and wealthy people, but as somebody with a purpose that goes beyond the current civilization.
Okay, so
Yes.
here's the $1,000,000 question. In order for the nobody to eventually become somebody, that means that there is a need for the nobody to become somebody that can influence the world in a way that has never been seen before.
Correct.
What is it going to take?
Like a cause and effect of just being nobody. He's not trying to be somebody. It just happens. Someone
I
pins
think-
him as something.
Sorry, I think that you guys are seeing it wrong again. Basically, you should see it in reverse, meaning that your nobody is probably somebody who realized that in order to navigate this kind of world, he needs to become nobody so that he can't be pointed out as somebody. You understand this? I mean, you can pinpoint anyone else but this nobody. And in this way, she, whatever it, manages to do things much easier and probably more efficiently than being somebody. So I don't think that your kind of nobody, I mean this nobody character, would actually be efficient if he would become somebody.
You see, the problem
Directly against the identity, if there is any.
the problem with the nobody is that let's suppose that the mainstream media would somehow find a way to monetize and to make some sort of financial profit off of this nobody.
Yes. Like
Then-
an effect, just
Like the effect, right? Then
They
at
try
that point it would become a competition, because at that point it would become politics, because then you'd have one person who claims to be the nobody, who is vying for the title of the nobody that another person is vying for the same title. So then it becomes a battle of who is the most prestigious nobody that can be awarded the title.
who is the most no one nobody? How no can you get?
Right.
Let's tell you. Let me tell you a funny story. So let's suppose in this story that you have all sort of occult organizations, religious heads, cult heads, and all that.
Okay.
Coming to these realizations that times must change, and like the pendulum swings, and as you see, everything swings from west to east nowadays. So it may swing through religion and culture and other figures, leader figures. So they know that when this pendulum swings, and times change, their Messiah character, Jesus, and so on, is already obsolete for many people, right?
Right.
So there another character will come on the stage or behind the stage or wherever it is. But they don't know anything about this character because throughout the millennia, you only had characters from the patriarchal and fuller cult. Starting with Moses, with whatever you want in there, pharaohs and so on, all males, all predictable characters because everything was written about them, you know, and this character even exists in subconsciousness as egregores or whatever you want to call them, I don't care. But when the pendulum swings, the character which will come in, let's say like that, will be of an unknown character, probably older than all these figures, or younger, newer, whatever. Time is circular anyway, so we can call it in any ways.
Let me ask a
And you
question.
don't know anything about this character, right? It can be embodied as a male or as a woman or anything in there. So the easiest way is to create a psyop, you know?
Let me ask
create a psyop where you create two characters, NobOdy and the woman of whatever, scars, stars, schools. I don't know what woman is
The
that.
woman of stars.
Anyway, who's the woman in Scars? We had never really talked about her.
Let me finish because it's not only the NobOdy, it's a couple in there, right? And you create this kind of psyop when? Exactly around the times when you create another psyop with the end of the world in 2012 and all sorts of bullshit like this. Man,
So you're saying that nobody started off as a psyop? So you're saying that the concept of the NobOdy began as a psyop?
This NobOdy character, yes, began as a psyop. You know?
I don't think so. I think somebody spoke universal truths, very deep.
If you let me finish the story, you will understand things a little bit differently. So you create this psyop as a sort of a trap for the character that comes in, you know? Because you don't know anything about the character, so you need to attract it in a way, you know? So you create this psyop where you either manage to capture the character and start to study it, you know, and see how it reacts to this psyop and so on. Or another possibility is that with this psyop, you create an actual character, a sort of NobOdy character, which will have to face the character that comes in, you know, like a sort of, how to put it, hero, anti-hero sort of thing, you know?
Big bad.
So, if the character that comes in and you don't know anything about it starts to or seems to be an evil one or whatever else, you with your psyop creates a fucking NobOdy who will actually fight this evil shit. Because let's be honest, most of the psyops are based on scripts from Hollywood and all this bullshit, and all the movies are.
Yeah, but wait. The NobOdy is essentially the shadow side of those who are in a state of arrested development, because
I don't think so.
No, I'm saying that the NobOdy has to be a mirror and reflect back to everything that
you got to name it. You don't know what it is. You can never know. So it's just you can guess all day what it's effectively. It's like pinning and labeling. Try it all. Just know.
Because you never let me finish. The guys who bought into the NobOdy psyop, they are actually the bait. You know, probably that character about we don't know anything. It's just studying the bait in there, and it's mirroring everything it sees. You know, because in order to make its own way through this bullshit and to understand this bullshit in which he has to navigate, he will start to mirror everything. He will start to camouflage and deceive everyone.
You know, we often talk about the NobOdy, but who's the worst?
That's exactly how it learns everything about this world.
So you're saying he's kind of
for
like
example, if you, for example, would wake up after 5,000 years or 10,000 years in a world in which you don't know anything about, you will do the same. You know, it's only human to do this.
Let me ask a question that which is related to the nobody. Does the universe has a purpose, or does the universe does not have a purpose? What do you think, Alex?
What?
Does the universe has a purpose or not?
As a what?
A purpose, meaning.
Ali is saying
As the purpose, yes. The purpose of the universe is to expand it and contract, and it's to learn more about itself through life.
Sorry about that noise.
Yeah, what is the noise about? It's like, are you moving in a chair or something? It's
I
like,
wouldn't doubt it if the nobody itself is a fucking psyop, just to literally ensnare a bunch of people who feel forgotten from society, or people who just kind of like, you know, dropped out of the system and just are on 4chan or whatever on Discord just lying around. And it's just like a meme exclusively for them, as if to tell these people, like, hey, you may feel like you're doing nothing in the world, but you can do something. You can be anybody, everybody, nobody.
Faded. Does the anyway?
If
It's a
nobody has
play
one
on the heroic side of people, which is buried in this society of nowadays. People cannot be heroes anymore. So it's the easiest way to take a child, you know? Just make it a play on the heroic side of everyone. All the people who find no reason to live, have no purpose in life, doesn't seem to enjoy life anymore. They just seem to find themselves much more easier in a nobody who is actually a hero.
Faded. Does the universe has a purpose? I want to ask this question to everybody. Does the universe has a purpose, Faded? Faded.
I mean, yeah, that's the bright side of it. The obvious dark side of being nobody is like, yeah, nobody, you're a fucking tumor and leftover byproduct of society. Yeah, nothing going for you. You're a step down or up from a consumer feeder because you don't put anything out. That's for sure. Or maybe you do. I guess that's why he has the grand effects that he does in Powers, because he doesn't do anything, but somehow he doesn't do anything and he's nobody. At least that's how it's perceived by the world.
DJ.
Well, going back to what Lucy said, because the nobody knows that he has nothing to lose, he represents more than just a character, a change of thinking and an ability to look at reality through a different paradigm. And it's an opportunity for all of us to embrace this idea that we are not our religion, we are not our political orientation, we are not our sexuality, we are not any of those things, our status, but we are a spiritual being having a human experience.
Well, so answer this question: does the universe has a meaning, a purpose? Woo?
If the
Of course
universe
it does.
has a meaning,
Purpose?
the meaning of the universe is to provide the background for your own experience in life.
But does it have an established purpose?
Understand?
I like that answer, Weiwu. The universe is a means to provide a background for your own learning throughout life. Well,
Yeah.
the universe is also it's a canvas. If you want to think in terms of a painter, it's like a blank canvas. It's the ability. It provides you with the resources to know yourself through many fractals of our existence. Of course, we all. If you believe that we all come from one source creator, then every human being on this planet is nothing more than just the self trying to learn more about itself through other people.
Yeah, just like remember, purposely forgot it, so we could all just come back together again eventually or something.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
DJ, what's the purpose of the universe, or does it have a purpose? DJ,
Sorry, what did you say?
what is the purpose of the universe? Does it have one?
It's asking me.
Yes.
Why?
Well, I want to know.
I don't know. I don't know either.
Let me ask you a second
Sorry.
question, guys. Let's see who can answer. If the universe has a purpose, then everything is determined. But if the universe has no purpose, then anything is possible. So for me, the universe has no purpose. I think for the nobody is also the same. The nobody is the expression or the mirror of the universe, meaning that he has no purpose. Therefore, he can choose any purpose. You see what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good theory.
That means he can determine what outcome he wants because there is no established purpose to the universe and he's a mirror of the universe. Therefore, he can choose to walk away, turn his back and walk away from humanity and just become what he wants to become and let it all burn, or he can either interfere and maybe alter the condition and the line of time of humanity, you know. That's a huge difference between the Messiah and the Christ and all these things that the world has desired for so long. You know, he is someone that can burn the world or save it. There is no purpose, but whatever he chooses to be.
It's so clear in the order until 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Sitting on a public.
If the universe would have no purpose, it wouldn't exist. You understand? Everything has a purpose because you give a purpose to things.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
So the moment you give a purpose to anything in this universe, the universe has a purpose itself. Okay?
Correct, and that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The universe has no purpose, therefore you can give. Therefore you can give a purpose. Yes, Alex.
I think what makes the nobody a unique character is that he doesn't necessarily believe that the universe has a purpose. So therefore, he can choose to navigate through the matrix in any way, shape, or form he chooses.
Exactly. This means that he can move up, down, left, and right.
It's the universe, guys. What the heck are you talking about? I don't think that anyone actually, not even nobody says, wakes up in the morning, if he or she wakes up, fuck knows what this nobody is doing, and say, wow, the universe has a purpose. I think that if this nobody exists in this life, in the morning would say, where the fuck is my coffee? You know?
He's
Give a fuck about the purpose of the universe, because the moment you give a purpose to anything in the universe has a purpose.
Correct.
The universe has no purpose, therefore any purpose can be placed upon the universe. The current thinking of mankind is that the universe has a purpose, the universe was created by God. So the current paradigm is very limited to what exactly to what the religious and the society tells you that it has a purpose. The nobody comes as a chaos agent. It tells you there is no purpose. You can conjure a purpose to the universe, to the planet, to your life. Meaning manifest what you choose. Be the magician. That's a huge difference, massive. It's very actualized.
What if the universe doesn't have a purpose?
What?
Okay.
I don't think that nobody gives a fuck about purpose.
What if the universe doesn't have a purpose?
Exactly.
Well, exactly. If it doesn't have a purpose, then it gives the nobody an opportunity to create a new paradigm, to create a new way of thinking that goes beyond limiting beliefs.
How does it do that? Please explain to me how.
Because you'll look at the guy who's
if
just
something
nobody.
doesn't have a purpose, it doesn't have to exist, because it doesn't have any purpose. Why would anything exist if it doesn't have a purpose? You know,
The
the only
purpose,
purpose for the flower exists is to enjoy it.
the
But if
purpose of the
purpose
universe.
is love, okay? So if the universe has no purpose, it doesn't has a need to exist. So you tell me, guys, how the fuck does the universe has no purpose and nobody comes and can do anything anyway?
Let me
What the
just
fuck?
let me just say
Makes
this:
sense.
the universe has no purpose, therefore any potential opens. It's like when you have
The
a
purpose is given by you. If you
exactly.
want to give a purpose to the universe, don't give it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we're saying.
Maybe like he has a purpose.
It's like an open canvas, where you're gonna paint. You begin with a blank piece of paper. The piece of paper has no
You guys are
purpose.
just
Let me
so
explain.
confusing yourselves
Let
with
me
the
explain.
words. I mean,
So
your purpose is to live, right? Is to breathe and to do something. I don't know, anything. Walking out is a fucking purpose.
but you don't
You
understand.
have to ascribe it yourself. God wants you to think.
It's like when you're gonna paint a picture. You begin with a blank.
The advantage that the nobody has over the rest of the 7.9 billion people on this planet is that the nobody does not subscribe to hierarchical systems,
Yes,
meaning that there's no good, better, best in the eyes, in the mind of the nobody. The nobody is a paradigm shifter. He's a chaos agent.
correct.
He is somebody.
The
He or
ultimate
she,
ego.
the ultimate ego death. Correct.
Checking, but also in that way, I mean, like if you have like the ultimate, which ironically the nobody is a narcissism trap I found for like a lot of people. They start fucking thinking that they are and shit like that, when it's just like an archetype aggregore to relate to. But like if you're a supreme narcissist and you just constantly check yourself every day, just woke up and was like, yeah, maybe a million, I may literally be Bruce Wayne, but I'm also like absolutely nobody at the same time. I do nothing. And I don't feel related to anything, and I don't attach myself to anything. You probably have unlimited room for potential to grow and be whoever, while also somehow it's still existing, whatever matrix identity that could be given you. You'd have the best and worst of both worlds.
In order for the universe to operate the way it does, it cannot have a purpose. It has to be without purpose. Therefore, the potential to let me finish. Let me explain.
Your purpose today is to fuck the purpose away.
Well, you don't let me explain because it doesn't have a purpose. Any purpose is possible. It's like when you have a blank piece of paper. It's like when you have a piece. Yeah. Let me explain.
Lucia,
When you have a blank piece of paper, where you can paint, you want to paint anything. If the piece of paper had a purpose, then with what is possible within the piece of paper, then nothing could be created. Then already a picture will appear. But because it's a blank piece of paper, the potentiality for anything is possible within the piece of paper. So you can paint anything or write anything. That's basically what the universe is. It's a blank canvas, which allows anything.
the nobody said
From the beginning, and the blank canvas has a fucking purpose. The purpose is to paint on it.
Lucy.
Understand?
The nobody was given a piece of paper. The nobody was given that blank piece of paper, and instead of painting anything on it, he turned it into a paper airplane. That's the mentality of the nobody.
And that's basically what the meaning of not having a purpose. It opens the possibility of infinity, of any choice, go up, down, left or right. Humanity right now can only go left or right. It does not have the choice that nobody has. The nobody has right, left, up, down, light, darkness, good, evil. He has transcended, like you say, duality, and therefore anything is possible for him. The nobody is having an influence right now on minds because he represents a real origin or truth which has been forgotten by humanity. Alex?
Lucia, I've got an appointment at 8 o'clock, so I'm gonna have to sign off now.
We're gonna do an hour. I mean, if you want to wait another 20 minutes, we'll be done.
Okay.
I mean, I like your opinion. So at least let's do to 7 p.m. my time, which is 18 minutes, and then we're done.
I think that, like the expression necessity is the mother of invention.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the world collectively created this archetypal figure called the nobody because, like the movie in the Joker, you have to have nothing to lose in order to become an agent, a chaos agent, an agent of change.
I agree.
Because if you have something to lose, then you're going to play it safe. Then you're only going to stick to the mainstream media's agenda or whatever agenda is your company is obligating you to conform to.
That's exactly right. So let's continue with the second question. What is his purpose or agenda of the nobody? We will.
The nobody doesn't have an agenda.
If you start with me, probably the nobody just, wants to have fun. Nah,
Agenda is liberalism.
probably the nobody
They don't like
will
that,
look
then.
around and say, wow, these people are so silly, let's have fun with them. Nah, there.
Exactly. Like, why are we all doing this thing? You guys want to party? You guys want to go on a walk in the park, in the garden, if you will?
Exactly.
What do you think,
Why
Alex?
are you guys all caught up on being somebody? Don't you just want to be nobody for a day? There's something I always said that, like, in all of mythology or religion, you constantly see gods trying their hardest to live mortal lives and mortals trying their hardest to live God lives.
Yeah, yeah. It's exactly like that.
He's just going to be both all the time.
Alex,
Like, yep, I'm that guy.
Alex, what
And
is
nobody
his?
knows me. I don't need the world to know me like Jesus. Maybe I was already Jesus. Now I'm just doing my nobody life.
Exactly, right?
Ale-
Just have fun in here. If things doesn't work as I want, I will fuck everything up and I will make my own way. And that's it, No one will know anyway because I know how to hide, I know how to mirror everything. So people will think that they were fucking up everything, not me. So just let's have fun with this.
It's extremely dangerous to be an asshole around somebody who's a really good mirror because you will not be able to handle it. I already did something like it today, and it like literally is like making people have existential crises about God. I'm not even trying to make anybody like, feel guilty. I just said like, yo, you're upset right now because you haven't thought about a higher power. At least think about it, and then maybe you have some interesting ideas to work with. And another guy was like, I mean, like, I usually like to turn the other cheek, but I stand by the fact that if Jesus tried to do that nowadays, he would just get pummeled. Like, people are like, why?
The nobody will give another meaning to turning the other cheek. I mean, you slapped me once, right? I turned the other cheek, you slapped me twice. Well, for fuck's sake, now I know that you want to beat me, and I will so fucking beat you. That you will never slap me again. That's why Jesus turned the other cheek, not to take everything in.
I think such ideology of turning the other cheek is a weakness, and it's inappropriate.
And the other cheek just reflect the bullshit back.
Sometimes you have to fight back.
Well, that whole turn the other cheek expression is derived from is Catholic guilt. It's the idea that if I did something wrong, screw me once, shame on you. Screw me twice, shame on me.
Correct.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Alex, so what is the purpose of the nobody?
People who were brainwashed to Catholicism. My friend was training to be a priest, and he's the same age as you, actually a little younger than me. That guy is he's 20 now. But guy was gonna be a full-blown priest. He has a collar and everything. He went to monastery, churches, went to asylums even to see people and do on them. But whenever he freaks out, he got really drunk once and started he speaks fluent Latin, and because he only goes to Latin churches, so like one day he just starts speaking in literal tongues, and I'm like, I always wondered what the church talked about when people were speaking in tongues, and now I actually kind of know, because if you sit through a fucking 4-hour sermon being programmed in a language that isn't yours and told basically that you're going to suffer pretty badly if you don't learn this language and say all these words exactly, then you will activate like a sleeper agent and just start spewing out Latin and Bible stuff, and you won't even know what the fuck you're talking about, and you won't even care. You just will be doing it automatically as a robot.
DJ,
Isn't tongues like nonsense?
Just,
DJ, what is the purpose?
That with the nobody meme, if you wanted to. Just humans are impressionable. They literally just want absolutely anything to hold on to. And I think that's what's great about nobody, is because there's no attachment, no nothing. And it makes more sense than, I don't know, a bunch of rules carved into a tablet telling me that no matter what, I shouldn't kill people or be violent or stand up or steal. Because, I mean, is it really stealing if I need it and you guys have so much? Is it really murder if you were never alive to begin with? I don't know. I can argue it all day. I won't be the most popular guy in court when I kill somebody, but you know.
Alex, so let me continue with the question.
Constantly telling, if you have to constantly tell yourself, do not steal, do not kill, do not be so angry, then you're going to end up a very irritable person who might end up killing somebody and stealing your shit one day.
Exactly.
Alex, what's the purpose or agenda of the nobody?
Lucy, what
By
do you
dropping
think?
all your standards and becoming nobody, you learn about everything you can in the world. You literally become a sponge for just how you can drop all your standards and understand somebody's completely other culture on the other side of the world and understand it immediately. Within a few weeks, you could even start picking up on some of their languages, like not even have to speak it. And it seems almost that all language and culture was designed to fit into each other like components for the day that when people got bored of their own culture or something and decided to move on to better things.
Well,
Which is mind.
so Alex,
See, what do you think this nobody wants?
the nobody
Nothing.
wants revolution, change, and evolution, ascension. He wants to become the actualization of the universe, energy and time, the singularity. But anyway,
But isn't that what you want?
well, sure. I guess I aspire for the same things.
Wouldn't it by default, archetypally, like, he's an archetype or an aggregate or whatever nobody wants would be collectively what most people want by default?
The nobody could be. I mean, humanity could aspire to be the nobody, to gain the best
I'm really
attributes.
thinking about going to grab a beer right now and crack open in front of my library.
The show is almost done, so let's just wait 10 minutes. The show will be over at 7 p.m. Alex, are you there?
I'm here.
Alex, so what is the purpose or agenda of the nobody?
For himself, nothing. For humanity, the purpose of the nobody is to raise the the level of collective consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
and to by being a mirror, by being a sponge, the nobody has the ability to navigate through this world in a way that allows him to transcend belief systems,
Okay.
because he will have, or she will have, been well traveled enough to understand that culture is just another limiting factor, another divisive scheme to divide and
Literally,
conquer.
it's all the same thing. All culture is literally the same fucking thing. I mean, there's only like, you only can call an orange or whatever fruit you do your rituals with so many different
Right.
names.
Exactly.
Faded. So, what is his purpose or agenda? What do you think? Faded.
Are you asking
But
me?
then again, individuality is beautiful, I guess. I don't want to absolve culture because that just seems like some
I'm asking
NWO shit.
I'm asking Faded, but Faded, what is his purpose or agenda of the nobody?
To dissolve ego. so that everyone will acknowledge that they are equally fucking nobody and no one has a grand and inflated sense of self-importance. No matter even if you're literally performing miracles by accident, somebody else is doing it too. And none of you are actually doing it because none of it is yours.
What do you think, DJ, about the same question? What is his purpose or agenda? Is he here to become Christ or something more darker?
Maybe Jesus was a socialist.
No, he
My
was
grandma
wrong.
tried to say that the other day.
DJ?
No, it just wasn't real. I don't know about that one. I think he was a really good charlatan that accidentally ended up performing miracles just because he got that good online and understanding human nature.
What do
He
you
was
think?
also always born to be that way.
What do you think about the question, DJ? Tell us what you think
But what?
about the question. What is his purpose or agenda?
To dissolve the world into one.
DJ, let's just
Break it down into its component parts until we realize that we're all pretty much made of the same fucking element.
Exactly.
Until I the undiscovered super heavy elements, no, everyone's just the same thing.
Lucy, I have a question.
yes.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Sure.
I am ready.
Lucy, how can you say that you don't believe in God, but then you also made that video where Allah and the nobody have a conversation. So can you just explain?
Well, I call the demiurge or God the energy that, the intelligence of nature, like the plants and the animals. Everything has a purpose, an engineered structure which allows them to, a program which allows them to, to operate in a certain way. Like an animal, a dog has a program, a cat, a human being. So when I call God, I don't mean a force outside ourselves or an entity that rules over everything, but the universal intelligence within all systems. So the demiurge is not separate from us, it's nature, and nature is us. I feel like right now this demiurge or energy is not working on our interest because we have forgotten who we are. We have forgotten that we are God, that we are the entity that manifested this place. So this intelligence is just operating independently to a degree of us because we're not conscious of it. So that's my answer. I don't know. What do you think, DJ? We will.
What?
Thanks for answering my question.
Sure. Anyway, DJ, you didn't answer the question of what is his purpose of the nobody?
I'm sorry, just repeat that.
What is the purpose of the nobody?
I don't know. I think the thing is, I read so many different things and I heard so many different sides of it and everything. I don't know. The thing is, Jesus Christ.
Mm.
No, I can't answer this right now. I'm so sorry.
Well, we're about to finish the show today, so let's have everybody give the last word. What would you be your opinion about the nobody, the show, and anything you want to say? We will.
Want me to say about something about nobody?
We are about to finish the show, so just say your last words.
Listen to me. You guys, if you want to create a nobody, you should actually
Look in the mirror.
start to define this nobody in a way, because otherwise you will create very ambiguous character which will not be functional, you know?
Mm.
But if there exists a sort of character which is not known, and you guys call it nobody, not the psyop one, you know, another character, I think that character will continue to not meet your expectations. Probably that nobody just look around and say, I don't want to actually be what these people want me to be. I want to be just me. You know,
I think
I'm not here to meet the expectations of no one. I just meet my own expectations.
to a degree,
So
you
it
know,
probably remain unknown for the rest of the time, you know.
to a degree, we are attempting to describe him right now. We are attempting to discover who he is. What do you think, Alex? Last words. What would you like to say to close this show?
The nobody's lasting legacy is to remind humanity that we, in essence, are the manifestation of God in the flesh, and that there is that there's more than just one way of looking at the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think that people who have been living too long in this world and feeling like that their contributions are not worth anything. I think that the nobody speaks to that person that really feels that that they've lived a long time in this life, but that no matter how much money they make or how famous they get, deep down inside, they feel like a nobody. So it's like an archetype.
Mm-hmm.
Point of graduating to out. You ever find it weird that when everyone was like a kid, no one had actually done anything yet, and no one really has an identity built up. But you got me. But like it's like everyone had like some sort of respect for each other, not from literally what you're doing in the world. Literally, you're a child, you're not doing anything besides having fun, but still somehow there's a level of respect and respect for each individuality. And even as a kid, you're not. Some kids are like, you're scaling hierarchies or who's better or who's worse. But really, it's hard to even do that as a child and make sense that way because I don't know. Butterfly effect. If you're living in 5-dimensional reality, dude, there's a new fucking universe for every grain of sugar in my coffee. I'm having a larger effect than just how much money I bring in, or even if I went out and performed a miracle, or if I killed somebody, still could have weirdly more or less the same effects as me doing nothing. I don't know. Even kids could go around and recognize each other's like actual worths without even being able to word it or describe it. And nowadays, when as a grown-ass adult, you'll walk down down the street on the block and just be like, oh, this guy is just like an NPC. This guy is like, what's your guy doing? There's no way this guy has his own entire life. There's no way. Like, what does he do? How does he contribute to the world? What's his stuff? I guess it really is about redefining your parameters of what defines what's worthwhile in general. Because there's some people out there who are millionaires, but they'll never have a conversation like we just had today, and that's pretty fucking fruitful. Literally, a conversation like this is the only kind that can cure mental illness and giving.
A conversation like the one we're having today is excellent. It's intelligent, and it's just not the nobody represents a topic of any possibility. We can talk about anything, and it will relate to the nobody. So it's a very intelligent conversation that is rarely have. DJ, any last words about the nobody and about what we talked today?
Thank you, Lucy.
Sure, Alex. DJ?
Lucy?
DJ, any last words?
Yes, I want to ask you something.
Okay.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Okay, so do you see nature as evil or good? Do
I
you
s-
think people should
Nature
connect to nature, or do you think that nature is evil?
I think nature and the current condition which this cosmos manifests is evil. Nature is evil. It is a trickster which seeks you to destroy you, you know, because everything that is born has to die, has to fade away. It destroys you. We can see with the animals consuming each other. We can see with the human being how it decays and gets diseases and grows old and dies. How war and disease and starvation. So everything that nature produces is evil. We are here to supersede the world in nature. Anyway, I guess that's it for the show. Anybody else wants to say anything? We will.
Yeah, I want to say something.
Okay, say.
The sky will be blue tomorrow. It will rain next week. Things in the world will be funny this year too. So nobody will probably uh, live rent free in our minds for another years. You know?
We will have more discussions about the nobody as the weeks and months go by. We will revisit this theme. I think is important and interesting. I just want to say everybody that participated today, thank you for being here and share your opinion. I will see you maybe in a week or two on the same day, Wednesday, to do another show. So goodbye for now, guys, and thank you again.
Yeah, but we can still chat in here, right?
Well, yeah, you can check in. You can still use the general
Yes,
voice.
I said chat. We can still stay in here and chat.
Sure.
Even if DJ only wants to talk to you, you know.
Well, you guys can stay, but I gotta work on the video. And
Oh my God, you just start to edit it already.
no, I gotta start getting loaded and all that. But you guys can stay here and chat. It's good.
I want to chat with Faded.
All right.
How you spell it?
But goodbye for now, guys. Yeah, talk to Fader.
Because Faded.